dengan jelas? Boleh ke?
Boleh.
Yes,
Doktor.
Okay. So let's see what is phytochemistry. So when we learn things, let's see what is the definition. So when you say phytochemistry, this is the study of chemical which is produced by plants. Okay, plants do produce chemical, that is primary metabolites, that is secondary metabolites. But when you talk about phytochemistry, we are looking at secondary metabolites in plants. Okay, so in simple way, you can say phytochemistry is the study. Phytochemical is the plant-derived chemicals. Plants produce chemical. So this word phyto means plant. So that's why you keep on saying plant, plant. So phyto is plant. It's come from the Greek words means plant. So that means phytochemicals, chemical from the plant. Okay, again, we will focus on the secondary metabolites produced by plants. Okay, you have learned about primary metabolites. When you say primary metabolites, it's referring to carbohydrates, protein, fat, minerals, and vitamins. So these are needed by the plants to maintain it itself. So this primary metabolism is important in the maintenance of the plants. But in this course, we are not focusing or looking at primary metabolites. We are looking at the secondary metabolites. Okay. So these secondary metabolites usually will synthesize by plants. Why? They have this for self-defense. Sekejap ya. Someone baru masuk ya. Okay. Okay. So plants do produce the secondary metabolites for self-defense. One of the reason. There are many reasons. One is self-defense. How these secondary metabolites can defend the plants from the insect, pests, pathogens, herbivores, UV, and any environmental stress. Example, if you remember your SIK 1001 and SIE 1001, when you learn on plant diversity, if you go back to last semester or 2 semester back, if you remember, you have learned about gymnosperm, the pine plant. Remember, bila kita toreh pine plant tu, there's something come out. Remember what is that? Ingat tak pokok pine? It will secrete something, a liquid. Anyone remember what we call this? Anyone? Takkanlah daripada 41 orang, seorang tak ingat. Remember your first year? Bukannya. It's not happening many years ago. It's just 2 semester back. Anyone remember? Just say yes or no. At least I know someone is there. I can't see you.
Is it sap, doctor?
It's a sap. Okay, it's a kind of sap, but we call it resin. Okay, if you remember, the pine plant, they produce a resin. Usually we use in the making turpentine. Why it produce resin? Sama lah macam bila kita luka. When you hurt the plants, it produce the resin. Why? Resin have a properties of antimicrobial. So it will protect the plants from any pathogen attack, like microbial, fungi attack, because they do have the antifungal or antimicrobial properties. So that's an example how plants produce a secondary metabolite, that is a resin, for the self-defense. This is an example. Okay. So in some condition, plants can produce secondary metabolites in harsh environment. And if you look the amount of these secondary metabolites, it will produce in all parts of the plant, but the amount will be different. You can usually, if you look in traditional medicine, why we use barks and root? Because in barks and roots contain the highest amount of these secondary metabolites compared to the other parts of the plant. Okay, so this phytochemical also responsible for the organoleptic properties of the plant. When you say organoleptic property, it contribute to the color of the plant. It contribute to the taste, flavor, aroma, and odor. Example, if you see, what is this in this picture? What fruit is this?
Cherry.
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 And what color is the cherry?
Red. Red.
Okay. So that means what actually contribute to this color is anthocyanin. So anthocyanin is the secondary metabolites that responsible for the color in plants. Why is important for the fruits to have colors? Example, why is so important?
So that animals are attracted to them.
Yes, to attract pollinator, right? Kalau dia letak warna putih je, it's not attracted. So anthocyanins here also helps to the presence of anthocyanins helps to attract the pollinator. So that's another function of this secondary metabolites. Okay, example like ginger. Okay, have you smelled ginger? Ginger ada bau kan?
Yes.
Very
Yes.
aromatic smell, right? Because of the aromatic compounds. So that's why it produces the aromatic smell. Usually ginger are rich with essential oil. Okay. And when you learn phytochemistry, okay, we are going to look on the structural composition. Okay. What makes this phytochemical? We are going to look at, in general, the biosynthetic pathway. We also going to look the function of this phytochemical, how example like anthocyanin function to give color in the plants, and the mechanism of action. Also how we apply this phytochemical not only as medicine, also in industry. Example, anthocyanin, because of its coloring, it can be applied in the coloring industry, in textile industry, in making dyes. Okay, and also for commercial application, how we use this. Okay? So the importance of this phytochemistry, if you learn about plants, it have been here many years. Okay, and numbers of species, if this is recorded, okay, recorded is around 400,000 species. There are many more numbers that not been identified, but only small fraction, around 35,000 to 70,000 of plants that have been screened for their medicinal use. That means if you are interested to do research on medicinal properties of plants, there are many more to explore because we have numbers of plants, but we only able to screen small number of plants. That means there are many more potential drugs in these plants that we can identify. Okay, so if you look also, numbers of drugs that have been developed in pharmaceutical industry is actually derived from plant, from the traditional usage. The best example I can give is like the first anti-malaria drug. The first anti-malaria drug we call Cinchona. Cinchona is actually being derived, traditionally used by the Amazon people from the plants called Cinchona officinalis. And then people comes to know that this Cinchona from Cinchona officinalis can be used to treat malaria. And what they use after that, they try to they plant a lot of this tree, but harvesting directly from the plant can be very costly and taking a long time. So what we do, the pharmaceutical industry try to synthesize this in the lab. So using the traditional knowledge, people start to make drugs. Okay, then there are many numbers. If some of you are taking ethnobotany later, you will learn this in that class. Okay, here I will highlight some of the example for the benefits for all of your students here. Okay, so numbers of drugs, around 11% of the drugs are actually from the plant origin. So never underestimate or underlook at plants, because the modern drugs that we use today is not simply petik jari dalam lab we make it. No, it will come from the knowledge of people using the plants. It's actually origin from the plants. Okay, aspirin is originally origin from the plants. The one of the earlier anti-cancer drug, vincristine, vinblastin, is actually from the plants called Catharanthus roseus. Kalau tak kenal, kita panggil kemunting Cina. It's a very popular ornamental plants. Okay, I'll show all some of this example when we are looking at this some of the compound. Okay, so that's why this phytochemistry is important for you to learn. Example, later when you want to do research, it will help in the search of new drugs. You have to know what are the secondary metabolites, and also like Sun Yao say, the family likes to use traditional medicine, so it can help you, this knowledge can help you to characterize and standardize herbal drugs, because we have numbers of herbal drugs traditional herbal drugs, but we didn't know exactly what are the compound there, what are the phytochemical presence. So having this knowledge, we can do more screening, and we found out, okay, this is the compound that actually responsible for the anti-malaria, for the antipyretic effect. Okay, so then it can help to standardize and to strengthen the traditional medicine. Okay, traditional medicine is not something that we say macam orang setengah orang kata not reliable, you can't trust it. No, traditional medicine do plays an important role also. It's just we need more effort to have more scientific evidence. So the job is among the biologists. Okay, so we also know by learning phytochemical, because some phytochemical are toxic, so we can estimate, assess the toxicity level of the plants, and in we can use phytochemical to classify the plants. Usually we classify the plants, kalau you learn in your first year, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm. Another way you classify according to the different families, Zingiberaceae, Annonaceae, and all different families. But you also can use, okay, they have phenolic compound, one group. They have alkaloid, one group. So you can use phytochemical for classification. Okay. And also we can see a different chemical present within the same species or within a different species, and we can use this to synthesize a new compound in the lab. We already know in the plant they have this chemical, and this phytochemical can use to treat cancer, example. But when you want to make in a large volume in the industry, you use this structure and you produce that in the industry. You already have this compound. Now you have to synthesize it in the lab. Okay, and also for plant pathology, you will learn more on how this is related to the plant disease. And also we can use phytochemical to develop some environmental friendly biofungicide, insecticide, pesticide, herbicide. Sometimes I have as few years ago, I just do some research because the students are interested to know how we can use essential oil from a plant to kill the housefly, because this is safe. We want to use something that is environmental friendly. Tak nak lah shell tox, reset semua tu kan, they are very high in chemical. We start to look for environmental friendly agent. And for food preservation, example, when you use plants with anthocyanins, it can help for food preservation. Okay, and phytoremediation, that means you can use phytochemical to extract out any heavy metal, maybe inside the legs or from the plants itself. Okay, these are numbers of applications that you can use if you have the knowledge in phytochemistry, and these are different types of research that you can do. Okay, and phytochemicals is not only, when you talk about phytochemicals, it's not only limited to medicinal plants, it's also vegetables. Okay, when you say you don't like plants, but remember, this is what you consume every day, the fruits, the vegetable, which give you all the benefit, the nutrients, the vitamins. Okay, and without you realizing, you're taking this fruit and vegetables, maybe kita makan tu sebab sedap, kenyang, a part of your diet. But what you forgot is it's also giving you some benefit, therapeutic effect, antioxidant. You're taking antioxidant every day. Cuma kita tak cakap lah, I'm eating antioxidant. But without we realizing, we're actually taking all the good effect from these fruits, vegetable, spices, legume, herbs, shrubs, and trees. Okay, and the source of this phytochemical in a plant, different part I mentioned earlier, are different concentration. Highest usually in the bark and the stem. Okay, and then if you harvest the plant in different season also, the phytochemical level will be different. Kalau musim hujan, maybe higher. Musim panas, maybe lower. It's a different. And you grow plants in, let's say, Malaysia, and you grow in Madagascar, the compound also might be different for the same species, because the soil also, the type of soil, how fertile is the soil, will influence the phytochemical. Okay, and Again, your foods is a part of our daily diet, which already a good source of your phytochemical, and you can get easily from all these vegetables. You can see here, you can say one of the important phytochemical presence here is anthocyanin, the color, which give you all the good antioxidant effect. Okay, tak perlu supplement dah. And this phytochemical also they have some therapeutic effect. They are a good antioxidant. Okay, prevent from this fighting free radicals. They are good antimicrobial agent. Example like example antibacterial garlic. Okay, consuming garlic also can help, especially very good for UTI. It also can boost your immune system. Okay, you're taking fruits. It's also helping to boost your immune system. Okay, and also a good anti-inflammatory agent. Example, ginger. Some people with joint problem, they try to take ginger infusion or ginger tea almost every day. This actually helps. Okay, but always remember when you're taking this from plants or vegetable source, you have to take it moderate. Jangan nak kata nak ambil 1 kilo, or you want to have a good effect. It doesn't work that way. In a small amount, daily. Okay, because high amount, phytochemical, they work this way. In a high concentration, it can be toxic. That's why you need to take in a very moderate amount as recommended. Okay, and it's also have other activity. There are many research show that phytochemical have a good anti-allergy, anti-diabetes, anti-cancer, wound healing, anti-hypertension, and also can use to treat ulcer, toothache. Toothache paling kalau nak rawat gigi, the best example bunga cengkeh. Okay, just ambil bunga cengkeh, you just make it into a powder, you put between your teeth. I can say that's the best remedies for toothache. Okay, sebelum you go and see the dentist. Okay, vertigo, appetite enhancing, stomach upset, it's all come from the plants. Okay, and when you learn about phytochemicals, phytochemistry, you have to know the classification, and usually we classify is according to the structure, and the biggest three group is phenolic, terpene, N and S containing compound. So I'm going to teach on phenolic and terpenes, and Dr. Irina is going to teach the third one on alkaloid. So this is how we divide. But you only see here phenolic. There are more sub-classification that you're going to learn. You're going to learn different class with example, okay, and how it benefit. So this is classification, phenolic, terpene, and alkaloid. So I'm going to teach this part, phenolic, terpenes, okay, and Dr. Irina will teach on alkaloid. And under this, there are many subclass, and you will learn this in this course. Okay, there are many interesting compound, and we will look how important and what are the scientific investigation that have been reported. Definitely, you need to learn little bit on the structure. Okay, and finally, phytochemicals, everything the plants have that you want. Okay. So far, ada soalan? Ada apa-apa soalan?
No questions, Doctor.
Okay, no questions, semua jelas? Okay, kalau tak ada, okay, so you can go and take a rest, good rest. We will see in first lecture next week, Monday. Nanti later in the WhatsApp group, kalau sesiapa yang belum join WhatsApp group, tolong join. Saya belum hantar dekat Afifah, nanti saya hantar ya. Okay, siapa nanti later you join the WhatsApp group, I need you to write in that. I will create the list, your email address which you want me to send your Google Meet invitations. Okay, so that I can just easily copy and paste in the Google Meet later. So senang sikit, tak payah nanti you nak tunggu saya masuk then only you can enter the class. So later nanti you all will do that. Second other things is, okay, I'll upload the lecture notes later. Then ada apa-apa lagi soalan nak tanya? Ada apa-apa?
Tak ada, Doktor.
Okay, sorry ya, kucing saya tu kuat sikit hari ni, tak tahu kenapa dia. Okay. Okay, kalau tak ada, okay, kalau ada apa-apa you can just